gonna go ahead and move into the reason that we're here at the moment, which is my top 10 favorite love movies of all times. And we're gonna, of course, call this Valentine's Day edition because this is the love month. And everybody is busy with their Valentine. So if you do, you know, fellas, y'all gotta give it to us and allow us to watch our rom-coms, okay? Sit down, get some popcorn, pop some bubbly, run that bath water, get the rose petals out, light the candles, sit back and enjoy a good love movie with your love. And these recommendations, if you haven't seen them, especially you Gen Z, Gen Ys, I know a lot of y'all haven't seen these movies. I'm a millennial, let's just be clear. I'm a millennial, so I need y'all to check these movies out if you haven't. And if you have, then we're just gonna go through like a little trip down memory lane with some of these fire reminiscence of the best love stories ever written. Like, I feel like I really compiled a good list for y'all. So y'all gonna enjoy this list. And like I said, this was not easy to narrow down because I have seen so many love movies. Like, I love rom-coms. I've seen from the Hallmark Channel to, you know, everything that you can think of. I've seen almost every love movie that there is, but these are my top 10. So we're gonna get into it. Okay, getting to the nitty gritty. Coming in at number 10, we've got a classic 90s romance comedy, Sleepless in Seattle. Tell me that y'all have seen Sleepless in Seattle. And if you haven't, then now's your opportunity to go back and catch this classic starring Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. My boy. Let me tell you, Tom Hanks is that dude, okay? And Rosie O'Donnell is a supporting cast in this. Basically, Meg Ryan plays Annie, Tom Hanks plays Sam. Tom Hanks basically loses his wife. She passes away. He has an 8-year-old son. They're living in Chicago. He's dealing with extreme amounts of grief. And somehow, some way, he decides that he's going to move him and his son to Seattle, start over, try to start fresh, and, you know, help him through the grieving of his past wife, his wife that passed away. And so Meg Ryan is a reporter for the news, and she also works in radio. Somehow, some way, the son, Jonah, what's his name? I know I wrote it down. Somehow Jonah ends up calling into the radio station. Now, mind you, he's a young kid. He's seeing his father go through this grief of, you know, losing their mom. He's also grieving as well, but he wants to do something to help his father. He wants his father to be able to love again, move on, and have a life outside of, you know, what happened, you know, with his wife. And so the son calls the radio station, basically one segment that they were having, asking and telling them that, you know, my father, you know, needs a new wife or needs a new girlfriend, and I want to help him find a new girlfriend. In summary, you know, there's millions of women listening in on this radio show, and Meg Ryan happens to be one because she's probably working on a story, so she has to keep her ear to the streets. But she gets enchanted by Jonah's story, and for whatever reason, like, she's really moved by the story, and she can't stop thinking about, you know, them. So I guess somehow, some way, the radio allows women to have an opportunity to write in to Sam if they want to contact him. Meg thinks about writing him, but then she decides that she's not going to write to him. But then her best friend in the movie ends up sending the letter anyway. So Tom never receives the letter, but the son receives the letter. So the son gets the letter. He's reading the letter, and he's excited because he realizes somebody wants to meet his father, X, Y, and Z. So now Jonah, the son, and Meg Ryan are communicating back and forth, and Meg is basically saying that she wants to meet them on Valentine's Day at the Empire State Building in New York City. So Jonah's excited. He's the one that has to spearhead this whole story. He ends up doing something outlandish, you know, kind of like how the boy in Home Alone, you know, had to do something outrageous. Jonah get somebody to finagle him a plane ticket to New York, because the father was just like not with it, wasn't paying attention, didn't know what was going on. And he's like, I don't have time to be responding to letters from these viewers, these callers, I'm not thinking about that. So Jonah, the one who's believing in love and wanting to find love for his father, he takes his own self, New York City, to meet Meg on Valentine's Day at the Empire State Building. Fate works its magic or whatever. Tom Hanks ends up finding out that his 8-year-old son went to New York City. So of course now he's got to fly to New York to try to find his son, which he's frantic. He's going crazy now at this point. Like, how the hell did somebody get him a plane ticket to New York? These kids, I wonder if I would have been that innovative at that age. I remember I wasn't as outgoing as that. I was a little bit sheltered as a kid, so who knows? But yeah, Jonah, shout out to Jonah for being fearless and getting him a plane ticket to New York City. Fate does its magic, and somehow, some way, they end up meeting at the Empire State Building, but by chance, because Jonah leaves his backpack. Meg, of course, the love story, typical, she gets there a few seconds after they're leaving, so they miss each other at first. Meg notices the book bag in the corner. You know what? I'm giving y'all too much, but basically it's one of those whimsical, happy ever after. They actually, everything works out, and y'all just got to see it. It's a magical show. A magical movie, and I just love it. It's so heartwarming, and it's one of those movies that kind of gets you a little on the edge of your seat, because you're like, are they going to meet up? Are they going to meet up? So I love that movie. It's coming in that was top 10. And it aired in 1993, just so you guys know. Jumping right into number 9, we got Made in Manhattan. This came out in 2002. Now, mind you, I had to enter this into the list because Jennifer Lopez used to be that girl. Well, she's still that girl. Jennifer Lopez was one of my girls who always had some type of movie, where it was her and a guy, a love interest or whatever. Not so much always cheesy love stories, but, definitely she was the go-to it girl, girl of interest in a lot of movies. And Jennifer Lopez was in her heyday in the 2000s, tons of movies, beautiful, of course, so who wouldn't want her as the leading actress in their movie? I feel like if one thing Jennifer gonna do, she gonna act. She may not be the best singer in everybody's eyes, but she get the job done when it comes to these movies. She starred in this movie with Ralph Fiennes, I think I'm saying that right, basically playing like a hotel maid, the typical Cinderella story. She's a hotel maid, and she ends up bumping into, and kind of by chance getting entangled with, a high-profile politician. And then something happens where she ends up with somebody's clothes that wasn't hers, and having to basically now play this part of this person who's wealthy, but she's not, because she's really just a maid working in Brooklyn. And this is a high profile politician who's famous, X, Y, and Z. Everybody would not want to see them together. All of her friends, her job even tells her that she cannot get involved with this guy because it's going to be a huge conflict of interest, and she could lose her job, X, Y, and Z and Z. So she goes basically incognito and is seeing this guy behind people's back, and they end up falling in love. But they have to overcome the challenges of being in the public eye and how they're going to break the news. So it's a whole drama type of scenario. Nice little build up to the storyline, of a girl getting the guy, the guy of her dreams, and he falling for somebody who's basically out of his league, and still basically seeing her for who she is at heart, and not that she's just a maid. So I just felt like this definitely had to make the list, because I used to watch this movie so many times. Like, it was just one of my favorite movies. And I was, during this time, I was a younger girl at the time. So just living vicariously through the story of, finding the man of your dreams. The sky's the limit. You never know. Just because sometimes we don't come from the same backgrounds or the same worlds doesn't mean that you can't find love in those spaces. So if y'all have not seen 2002's Made in Manhattan, y'all need to check that out. Moving along to number 8, we got 1997's My Best Friend's Wedding. Let me tell you right now, this movie used to have me on the edge of my seat. Like, first of all, Julia Roberts was that it girl in the 90s. Julia Roberts was so funny. Like, I love Julia Roberts. She was one of my favorite actors at one point, especially during that time in Hollywood. Julia Roberts, another it girl, another leading lady in most of these movies from the 90s. And she was slaying the scene at this time. She started in this movie with Dermot Mulroney. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. But do you know how fine that man was? If y'all don't know, y'all gotta look him up. Dermot Mulroney. Y'all gotta look him up. That man is so fine. I don't know what he's looking like today. I have not seen him in a lot of here recently movies, but back in this time he was that dude. He was in a lot of movies as the hot guy, the hot boyfriend, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I think supporting actresses in this one was Cameron Diaz and Rupert Everett. So Cameron Diaz played the woman that, now the best friend is a man. Julia Roberts' best friend is a guy from high school or whatever. She realizes after all this time that she's actually in love with him, but he's already set to be married to somebody new, which is Cameron Diaz. And you already know how Cameron Diaz is. Cameron Diaz is the diva, of course, and she's not going for it. So Julia Roberts finds herself finding out that her best friend is getting married, and now all of a sudden she's in love with him. So she's got to sabotage the wedding. She's got to do what she gotta do to ruin this wedding and try to profess her love to him. And that's basically what the storyline is about through the movie, of her doing all these outrageous tactics to ruin the wedding. And it's just so funny. Like, it just had me on the edge of my seat from start to finish once things got going. And I'm like, what is Julia going to do next? Like, is she going to tell him? Is she going to tell him? Like, every scene, it was like she would try to choke up the nerve to tell her best friend that she's actually in love with him. Because he's not thinking like that. He's a guy. He's thinking like, this is my high school friend. She's happy for me. I'm about to get married. He's not actually thinking that she's in love with him. So this was just a love story that I feel is very common, especially with nowadays, like it being very taboo for men and women to be best friends. I've been through a scenario like that. I don't recommend it because I do feel like I had a guy that I was very close to. I felt like I would be able to have the boundary of being friends, but I did find myself falling for him. I did find myself romantically attracted, wanting to be with him at one point, and it kind of just got complicated, you know. And so I commend those people out there that are able to have those friendships with men and never really cross the line. I respect you and I commend you for being able to do that, but I just wouldn't put myself in that position anymore. Like, you know, it's one thing to have a guy friend just casually, you know, but it's another thing when it comes to like being best friends with somebody, because that's a whole nother level of emotions that get involved in being so close and intimate with the opposite sex. And especially if your best friend is hot. If your best friend look good as, yeah, you both sides, male or female, whoever the one, like, you gonna be in for it, because it's gonna cross your mind. It's gonna cross your mind, like, you looking real good today, you know what I'm saying? Like, you looking real delicious, but you my best friend. Like, what am I thinking? So, yeah, to each his own, you know, I would say tread very lightly with that. Now we are moving into number 7. One of my faves. This is one of my mom's favorite movies as well. I think that my mom actually had this book. I can't think of the author right now off the top of my head. I want to say Terry McMillan. I believe this is Terry McMillan's story. Terry McMillan was very big in the 90s, and I was so proud of her when this actual this book became a movie. So, it is How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Baby, I would say I adore. First of all, Angela Bassett is my top actress of all time. Like, that is my favorite actress of all time. Like, I love Angela Bassett. I've always loved how she embodied this certain type of fierce confidence, like, you know, regalness about her in every role that she's ever played. And I adore Angela Bassett. And so, you know, seeing her in this element, you know, falling in love for a man that's 20 years her junior, Taye Diggs. Ooh, baby, 1998 this came out. Taye Diggs was in his prime. He probably wasn't exactly 20 at this time, but that was how old he played in the movie. And Tay Diggs is fine as hell. Like, I can't lie. Tay Diggs, super chocolatey, super white teeth, gorgeous smile. Like, I feel like I'm right there with you, Angela. You know what I mean? I don't care how old I am at this point, baby. You fine, and you got that work. You got that wood. I need to see what that be like. And so yeah, how Stella got her groove back. Whoopi Goldberg is supporting actress as Stella's best friend. I believe Regina King is also in this as her sister or something like that. It's a little fuzzy, but this was a great storyline. Basically, Stella takes a vacation to Jamaica, meets Tay Diggs off the whim. They have a good time in Jamaica, and that's really all she anticipated being, you know, but they fall in love. And now Tay Diggs comes back to America with her, and they, you know, Angela's got a kid that's like almost half his age, and they're trying to work everything out. You know, they're trying to make it make sense to their family, their friends. You know, like, this is a 20-year difference, and during this time it was very taboo to be dating somebody that young. Nowadays it's common. You see everybody with somebody young on their arms. You know, age gap ain't nothing, don't matter to nobody these days. But me personally, I'm not gonna date somebody that much younger than me, because it's two different time frames. You know, you're in your prime. If I'm already an older, established person, woman, I'm not gonna be trying to intertwine those worlds. You know what I mean? You in your prime, you should be out having fun with your boys, going to the strip clubs, doing whatever it is that you do. And I'm not saying that some people don't make it work, but it still just comes off very cringe for me. Like, you should be doing what you should be doing with your age bracket, and I'm gonna be doing what I'm doing at this point in my life. And I feel like I will be robbing somebody of their life by trying to get them to rise to where I'm at. You feel me? But in this movie, I feel like it made for a great, whimsical, delusional type of vibe, because I mean, it worked for them at the end, and it was a beautiful love story, and she got her man. So definitely a good movie that you guys should check out with your loved ones, just to, you know, go back down memory lane, have some fun, you know, vibe out in Jamaica. And now we're gonna go to number six. I do got some honorable mentions. I'm gonna try to incorporate those in it. I don't want this video to get too long, because it's already long. But coming in number 6, now this was such a fun movie when it came out 2001. Like, I was hooked. I loved it. Definitely an all-star cast in this one. Two can play that game, girl. Vivica Fox, my second favorite actress of all time. Vivica Fox sold this movie with the whole dramatic being like, you know, I'm that girl, I'm player as, you know, and I'm gonna make this guy do what he can do, because he wanna play games with me, I'm gonna play games with him too. And so this movie, basically, Vivica Fox is like this strong boss chick. You know, she's helping her friends who are let's see, she's got Gab Union, Monique, Wendy Raquel Robinson, and Tamala Jones. These are her girls. These are her girls that are playing a supporting role in her cast. All of them are having men trouble. Bobby Brown is in this movie as well. And then you got Anthony Anderson, and of course the iconic Morris Chestnut. Gorgeous Morris Chestnut. So Morris Chestnut is Vivica's boyfriend. During the movie, Vivica is trying to help all of her homegirls with their relationship troubles, but then she ends up in the hot seat, and she ends up having some relationship troubles, and now her and her man are going back and forth playing these games with each other, and it's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess. Like, you can imagine, you know, the things that we have had to do a lot of these times to manipulate our man, or vice versa, and just the little mind games, the little, I'm not talking to you today, and I'm mad at you right now, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna make you jealous, and like, the games was endless in this movie, and it was just so funny. Like, this is what they call like a romance comedy, because it was just so funny. And of course, just seeing Anthony Anderson was Morris Chestnut's best friend. So he's helping him with his game against Vivica because she's smooth. She good. She getting him. But Anthony Anderson is there to support his boy. And he's like, no, if she doing that, then this is what, and he's putting all the game together, all the clues and running the game. Like, it's just such a fun love story. And in the end, it ends so cute. Like, I just love when, you know, you be on the edge of your seat, like wondering, is he gonna lose the girl? Is she gonna walk away forever? When, you know, when you're first watching a movie. And then it's always fun to rewatch them too, because I still be in that same element, like feeling like I'm surprised and I've seen this movie a million times. So yeah, y'all go check out Two Can Play That Game. Check out my girl Vivica Fox, Slay, and then just seeing all of these prominent 90s girls. Like, these was the it girls from the 90s. Seeing all of them in their element, at the height of their careers, you know, really selling. This is when, you know, a lot of Black romance comedies was like major at this time. Like, great storylines, great directors, great screenwriters. Like, these movies, you don't get that these days. These movies that's coming out now on Tubi, they don't have the same essence as these early 90s, late 2000s and all of that movies. They don't have that anymore, and it's something I miss so much. Like, you know, here and there might be a movie that kind of really captures me in a way like it did from the 90s and the early 2000s, but really nothing like these movies anymore. Okay, so we have reached the middle, the number 5 top 10 rom-com romance movie of all time. The iconic Game Changer came out in 2000, so this was a year before Two Can Play That Game. Set the standard for what love is. Love and basketball. Baby, this movie, oh my God, just melts me. Starring Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan. Like, this was a great story. A pro baller, 2 pro ballers, I'm sorry. She was a pro baller and he was a pro baller. They both in college. Now, you already know, when you get to college, that's when your relationship really gets tested, because it's women, it's men. You are growing, like, you're at a different part of your life as opposed to high school. You're now becoming a real adult. You're making major life decisions. You're changing, you're growing. You know, you're finding out what really means, what's really important to you. And I feel like this storyline really showed the test of love, basically, for them to navigate having pro baller careers, being enticed by other men, other women, you know, traveling, being overseas, out of the country, the demands of their schedules, and then still trying to make time for each other and their love and keeping their love alive. Like, this movie definitely pulled at my heartstrings. It also had me on the edge of the seat, especially, like, I will never forget the closing scene was my favorite part of this movie. Like, I just get chills when I watch that movie every time. Like, when they're on the court, that last scene, and she comes back for him. Now, mind you, this guy is engaged to a whole nother woman. She done been through her little relationships. It's like 7 years later after they broke up out of college, being high school sweethearts. And this lady moves back, Sanaa, moves back to her hometown and bumps into him again, Q, Omar, realizes that she still loves him. And somehow, some way, she's trying to find a way to tell him that she feels like they're meant to be. And, you know, basketball used to be something that they bonded over, of course, and they used to play one-on-one together. So the last scene shows her really getting the nerve up to tell him how she feels, and basically challenges him to a game, saying that if you don't feel the same about me, prove it. If I win, then that means that you really love me. And if I lose, then that means that, you know, maybe I'm delusional and I'm gonna move on with my life and I'm gonna let this go. So she loses the game. She loses the game, baby. And when that ball dropped, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, he don't want her. He don't want her. He don't want her. Baby, I was ready to cry. And then the next moment you hear him say, double or nothing. That line will forever be iconic. That line, like, oh my God, I'm getting all warm and fuzzy inside. Like, I love that movie. I love Loving Basketball. I have that movie. It's gonna always be in my collection, and I never miss an opportunity to watch it because it just makes me happy. So yeah, y'all already know what it is with Loving Basketball. If you haven't, go back and watch it another time, just because, and really understand what true love will always prevail. All right, so we are down to number 4. I hope I'm giving in this video because I'm a little nervous. Like, I feel like I'm rushing with this video, but at the same time, I know I can talk, and I know that these minutes be adding up, and I'm probably already on 30 minutes. I don't care. And then it's really the editing. I can't do all this editing, y'all. But okay. I'm gonna pull it together. So, number 4, y'all probably not gonna guess this one, but this is like still 2008, okay, so mid 2010s, late 2010s rather. This was a movie that took me by surprise when I first seen it. But after I was hooked, I've watched this movie a million times, and it's just a very whimsical, lighthearted but cute love story, and it's 27 Dresses. Yes, 27 Dresses with Katherine Heigl and James Marden. Ooh, and Judy Greer is the supporting actress as the best friend. We got Malin Akerman and Edward Burns. They're all kind of intertwined in this story. So, first of all, James Marden, super crush on him. Like, he's another one, super gorgeous man from the 2000s. Like, if you've seen any of his movies, you know that man is fine. Okay, go look him up right now. He is fine. 27 Dresses is Katherine Heigl. So basically the 27 Dresses is how many times that Katherine Heigl has been a bridesmaid. She's never been a bride at this point in the movie, and she's kind of starting to get a little discouraged because she's wondering when it's going to be her big moment. Like, when is she going to meet the love of her life? When is she going to get married? You know what I mean? Like, and have her happy ever after. Like, everybody, all of her friends, everybody are like 27 times to be a bridesmaid. And it is insane to even think about it, but I can definitely, understand and get where she's coming from. The plot of the movie is like, I want to be the bride now. I've been everybody else's right hand, been a supporting, role in your wedding, and I've got like 27 bridesmaid dresses, but I need to be wearing the big one. I need to be wearing the bride, the true gown. You know what I'm saying? The main attraction. I need to be the bride. And so I think the setting of this movie is that Katherine thinks that she's in love with her boss. And somehow, some way, the boss is not paying her no attention. He doesn't even know she really exists at this point. He ends up meeting her sister, which is, I didn't even write the sister's name down. But in the movie, her sister's name is Tess. And so her sister comes to visit. She's just like a young, sweet, kind of like ditzy, blonde, not somebody that's really looking for love. She's busy living her life, having fun. She's gorgeous young girl. And the boss ends up falling for her sister. So now Katherine is like blown away because she's like, wait a minute, like this is the guy that I thought I was gonna, find a way to tell him and profess my love to, and he goes for my sister. And then the next thing you know, they falling in love. Now they about to get married. He done proposed to this girl. Like, things moving so fast. So Katherine is like devastated. But in the midst of her, being salty about her sister getting with her boss, she meets this guy, which is James Marden, and he's like, kind of just comes in because she lost her wallet, and then all of a sudden, like, now they're in communication, and he's like kind of pursuing her a little bit, but she's like brushing him off because she's thinking she's in love with her boss. And then he ends up being who she needed. And it just, the way that the story unfolds is like she realizes that her boss was never the guy for her, and maybe it was her desperation of wanting to be a bride that had her, again, delusional, thinking that she was in love with this man, but she really realized that they didn't really have much in common. And this guy that she met off a whim really brought out the best in her, really, played up the parts of her that made her really realize that this is what love is, and maybe I am in love with this man. So it's a typical, kind of like chance, luck of the draw, like, will you realize who your real love is and before it's too late? Because, you know, but so many times that you can reject somebody and they're gonna stick around, and that's kind of like what the theme of this movie is. And I think you'll love it. I think that you'll love 27 Dresses. Just even seeing, they show you in the movie the 27 dresses that she wore to the different weddings, and I think that that was a great highlight of the movie, you know, and it just made me feel like connected to her. Like, okay, girl, yes, you done wore all these dresses. I want you to get your man. I want you to get your husband so that we can see you in that bride gown. You know what I'm saying? It's a great, fun, lighthearted love story. I think you'll love it. Check that out. All right, so we are at number 3. Top 3 here now. Top 3. This is major. This is major. Number 3. Jason's lyric. Jason's lyric is powerful. Jason's lyric is powerful, girl. First of all, Jada Pinkett and Alan Payne. Alan Payne from New Jack City, my brother's keeper. You already know. First of all, Jada Pinkett was an iconic actress from the 90s. I love everything that she's played, and she's always been able to bring that real, raw emotion in every role that she's played. I think that that is her essence. I think that that's why her and Tupac connected so deeply, because they really were very passionate actors, poets, just creative beings. Like, I loved Jada Pinkett, all of Jada Pinkett's movies. I have them that she did, and this one was just iconic because it was a love story. And I think that the setting, being from the hood, was really what connected with me. Like, I love that it was in the hood. You got Tretch in this from Naughty by Nature. You got Bokeem Woodbine, the crazy ass brother that was causing all the trouble with his mother, and in the hood, getting in trouble, gang banging, stealing cars. And then you got Forrest Whitaker, which was basically the trauma that Alan Payne was trying to run from with him accidentally killing his father. So the whole movie, it's him getting over the fact that I think either he or the brother accidentally killed the father because he was an abusive alcoholic to their mother. But Forrest Whitaker, when they show the scenes of him playing this father, sold this role. Y'all already know Forrest Whitaker is an Oscar winner. He always gives very riveting performances, and he sold that role as that father, that drunk father. And I could really resonate with why they were really wanting to protect their mother, and just seeing that and being a child at that age and witnessing your mom being hurt and abused by somebody that you love too, because it's your father. You want him in your life. You want your father in the same household with you and your mother. You want to be loved by your father, but his love for drinking causing him to be abusive. But at the same time, he have his moments where he's feeling sorry and he wants to love on his boys, he wants to love on his family, but he can't get it right. The drinking just keeps him in a chokehold and he can't get it right. And so yeah, I think that was part of the reason of how Jason met Lyric, and just being able to bond with her and latch onto her, because him wanting to forge his own happy ever after, and then the challenges of that because he's dealing with his brother who's still a menace. And then Lyric is this whole, she's a very tough cookie. She ain't trying to be playing no games with you. She curbs you for the first part of the movie. She ain't want to give your ass half the time, and then you finally win her over, but now you doing what you got to do to keep her, and your family is destroying it. So this is one of those love persevering type of strong performances. Like, Jason's Lyrics came out in 1994. Very well written movie, very just over the top love story, very passionate scenes in there too. Y'all remember those scenes with Jada Pinkett and Alan Payne out in that field now? I was like, Jada, what you doing, girl? Jada. But yeah, if you have not seen Jason's Lyrics, I'm sure you might have. Definitely check that out. So it is time for number 2. Ooh, and I'm winded right now. I need to get my soda, but I feel like if I look at the time on this video, my top 10 number 2 romance movie of all time is none other than Poetic Justice. Y'all, if y'all don't know me, then y'all know one thing is that I love me some Tupac Shakur. Like, that is my number one. Like, if he was alive today, he would probably take Chris Brown's spot. But, you know, right now, Chris Brown is probably, you know, up there, but, you know, dead or alive type of thing. But Tupac is my number one. I love me some Tupac. His picture is right there on my wall. I would show you, but just iconic. Janet Jackson and Tupac, what a duo. I feel like this duo was so powerful in this movie, and you to have it narrated by one iconic Maya Angelou with one of her infamous poems, Phenomenal Woman, which was kind of like the theme of the movie, showing Janet growing into being a woman, you know what I'm saying, navigating through love. She loses her first love at the beginning of the movie. He gets murdered. So her overcoming that and trusting love again. And then you got this, you know, slick talking, cute, but, you know, you can already tell he's a bad boy type of dude in a way, come through and try to sweep her off his feet, and she like, you know, hesitant. And Tupac is just being him in the movie, you know, like, girl, stop acting stuck up, get your head out your butt type of thing. Like, I'm that dude, you need to mess with me. And at first they're rivals in the movie. Supporting actors in this movie was Regina King and Joe Torre. They definitely had me dying through the whole movie. Regina King being a drunk, and then Joe Torre with that damn brush that he used the entire movie. Just, this was such a great movie. Like, them traveling up the road together, visiting, like when they crashed that random cookout, was one of my favorite scenes. And I think that was the pivot of the movie where Janet started falling for Tupac. So you could see him wearing her down. They had some very explosive moments, because y'all remember that scene when they was in the truck and she was like, fuck, yo, he was like, fuck you, get, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, they still gonna you up. Like, I would never forget it. I would never. And I think Janet, just her probably now as a grown woman, looking back on such a priceless time in her life, and remembering all of that. There was a lot of controversy around that movie with her and Tupac as well. If y'all know, if you know, you know. Poetic Justice came out in 1993, so this is like right at the height of Tupac's career, Janet's career. I think that they both had really started doing a lot more in, you know, movies and acting. So this was perfect for both of them. And I think just both of them being like super sexy, gorgeous, like it was a good look. It was a good look. And again, Maya Angelou being the theme of this movie was what really sold it as being poetic. And I think that they really embody that. I love that. And I love that ending scene with Tupac and his daughter and her. And I think it's just I'll watch it a million times. I will watch this movie a million times over. And especially just to see my baby Tupac. I just love it. And it's one of those, you know, I don't want to say this is more of a delusional type of thing, but it is like when you think about like somebody coming from the hood and, you know, you're trying to change your life and you're the classy one. And you're like, you know, what I look like getting involved with this bad boy type of thing. But then at the same time, like, he is kind of cute and maybe I could be, you know, maybe we could be together type of thing. And, you know, I could be his ride or die, whatever. So it does have a little air of Delulu in there. But I think that at the end, they did made a good match, because opposites attract. Opposites do attract. All right, y'all. So we are now down to the number one spot. The number one spot. And I'm going to just give it to you just like this. It's a tie. It's a tie. I'm sorry. It's a tie, guys. I cannot put these in the one or two, or, you know, like either one of them. I can't just put them in the number two spot. Like, it's a tie. Y'all gonna be real surprised with this one. So the number one spot goes to both Meet Joe Black, 1998, and Love Jones, 1997. Yeah. It's no way I can pick. I can't pick. It's a tie. I love both of these movies with all my heart. They are my number one movies of all time. Meet Joe Black, starring Brad Pitt. If you have not, and Anthony Hopkins. If you have not seen this movie, It is iconic. And I think that this movie is so whimsical, fantasy, like over the top. The storyline is just so bizarre. Brad Pitt plays basically a supernatural power, Death. That's his name in the movie. He's a spirit, but he comes to life in somebody else's body, and he ends up falling for this girl, which is Anthony Hopkins' daughter. Anthony Hopkins is the one who has to end up dealing with him because he basically manipulates him by telling him that he's about to die, and if you don't do what I say, then you're going to die quicker than what you're already going to die. And I think whoever coined this storyline was so creative because it just works so well. It works so perfectly in how they played out this whole scene with, an entity, Death, a spirit, coming to life and learning what life is, learning what love is, learning what, the world is, and being alive. Not, death not ever being alive is a concept. If you think about it, like, it's a play on concepts. Brad Pitt is at the height of his career as well. Gorgeous. I mean, in this movie, he is like, I'm mesmerized by start to finish, first of all, because Brad Pitt has always been super fine, and like in this movie, he just looks so gorgeous. I was like, ain't no way. Like, I don't care what your name is, Death, take me now, because baby, you fine. I'm coming with you. It don't matter. And you will see Anthony Hopkins plays this role. Excellent performance in this role as the wealthy CEO of a billion-dollar company. He's celebrating his 50th birthday or something like that, or anniversary, something like that. I think it's the birthday. I'm a little fuzzy. He's celebrating his birthday, so he said he's gearing up for a huge celebration. And to find out that he's about to die, like, that's one thing that none of us are privy to. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the fantasy of this movie is. Like, none of us know when we're gonna die. But in this movie, Joe, which is Brad Pitt, comes to tell him, like, hey, you're gonna die, and you're gonna do this before me so I can buy you some more time. That's basically, that's the deal. So y'all have to check out this movie to see like how it plays out, because I know a lot of y'all ain't seen this movie. If you did, then you a real movie head and you a real movie buff if you've seen Meet Joe Black, because this is a classic, iconic movie. And I'm putting y'all on right now. To be honest, I'm putting y'all on. So y'all might want to go ahead, however you got to find it. You could probably find it on one of these streaming platforms, or you can probably just buy it straight out from Amazon. I will buy it because it needs to be in your collection. Like, I have Meet Joe Black in there, like, still wrapped up. Like, it's a collector's item at this point because that's how much I love this movie. And then Love Jones, that, like, oh my God, it's my heart. It is my heart. 1997, Lorenz Tate, Nia Long. You got a supporting role of Bill Bellamy in there. Lisa Nicole Carson. This movie will forever just, I've watched this movie probably more than any movie 1,000,000 times. Like, it will never get old to me. Every time I watch it, it feels like the first time. It just, oh my gosh, it just fills me with so many emotions, seeing like the trials and the things that go on with Nia Long and her relationship with Darius, who is Lorenz Tate. Lorenz Tate, fine as. Just, they're young, you know what I'm saying? They're going through the motions, they're figuring things out. They try this relationship and then they break up and they're going through this, and he's with these other people. She's pursuing her career in New York. She moves away. He goes and dates somebody else. But at the end of it, and then she even dates his homeboy in this movie. Things got real touchy in this movie, but Bill Bellamy, he was a dog in the movie, so he ended up fumbling her, and she realized, like, maybe things weren't all that bad with Darius, and maybe I could have been a little demanding. Darius, he starts thinking back about her, like, that was my girl. Like, we were in love. We had some very great moments. And, now she's in New York. Like, is it even worth pursuing? And they kind of just, like, miss each other in time a little bit along the way. But, like, y'all, like love is, it never fails. So, somehow, some way, their hearts find each other again. And they end up reconnecting, and I think that ending scene will forever live rent-free in my head when they are under that bridge in the rain, and Lorenz Tate looks at Nia Long and he says, I love you, and that's urgent than a mug. like that, like it just melts my heart every time. It just melts my heart every time. Like I'll probably go and watch that movie right now because it takes me away from all of my problems. It makes me always remember to believe in love. It makes me always be delusional. It doesn't matter. Like I'm always gonna feel like my happy ending is always around the corner and that I'm gonna live happily ever after. I'm gonna get my glass slipper. I'm gonna, all of that. Like this is what Love Jones does to me, and I think it is the perfect rom-com that you and your dude should watch again, and really just, this is a time when there was no social media. There was nothing like that. Love letters and, I'm going to hop on this train and come find you, or I'm going to chase down trains to get to you. These type of love stories. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. I'm telling you, like, so many iconic scenes in this movie. Definitely that was one of them, with Darius trying to fight for his love for Nia, and missing her on the train. And then, Nia coming back from her job in New York, coming to the same nightclub, poetry club, trying to find him. And then, they just missing connections, and then finally relinking and rekindling their love. And so I want everybody out there to find love. I want you guys to all experience this kind of love in real life. And it is possible. Like, no matter how delusional we may be, I feel like this is a safe space to be at times. You don't want to be stupid now. Now, I'm not telling you to be stupid for nobody, but I'm telling you that love does require a certain amount of delusion to be able to bring you to those heights of, no matter what, I'm gonna resort back to the love. No matter what, we're gonna stick and we're gonna get back to the love. Period. Like, it has to be the focus. It has to be the bottom line. Like, love is the end all be all. You understand? And that's how I feel in real life about love. Like, when I love you, I love you with everything I got. And I'm not anticipating, falling out of love with you. Can it happen? Yes. That is a realistic outcome of being in love with somebody. Maybe one day you do wake up and you grow apart and you're just like, I want something different. I'm changing my mind. I don't think that I want this anymore. But at the end of the day, sometimes when you really, really love somebody, just like my neighbors out there, y'all know I'm talking directly to y'all about who I'm talking to y'all about. They might be going through their rough patch right now, but that love, you can read it from a mile away. And I think that it was strong. I think that it was real. And I think that it has the possibility to find its way back to each other. So I'm rooting for those two, whatever their decision is. But I'm hoping that can be one of those love stories where it has a happy ever after, regardless of what the circumstances are right now. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Oh my gosh, I've been ranting for about 45 minutes. But I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope if you don't have a Valentine's, don't fret, don't worry, don't get yourself down. It's still an opportunity for the next season of your life to be in love, have your happy ever after. And if you are in a relationship, I would say do everything that you can to keep that passion alive, reignite those sparks, bring the romance, bring the passion, bring the heat, turn it up a notch, and really just go above and beyond to show your love in an actionable way, to make sure that your partner feels appreciated and loved and know that you truly, truly love them. And I'm gonna leave y'all with that for now. You know what I mean? Like, y'all take my love list, my movie love list. Y'all catch up on these movies. And I hope that you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Definitely make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all got to come back and see your girl, because I got some more heat for y'all. I got more stuff for y'all in the works. And y'all have a wonderful day. And I will catch you all in my next video.